SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL lets you access and manipulate databases. SQL became a standard of the American National Standards Institute ANSI in 1986 and of the International Organization of Standardization ISO in 1987. SQL, which is a computer language for storing, manipulating and retrieving data stored in a relational database. SQL was the first commercial language introduced for EF Code's relational model. Today, almost all RDBMS uses SQL as a standard database language. SQL can execute queries against a database. SQL can retrieve data from a database. SQL can insert records in a database. SQL can update records in a database. SQL can delete records from a database. SQL can create new databases. SQL can create new tables in a database. SQL can create stored procedures in a database. SQL can create views in a database. SQL can set permissions on tables, procedures and views. SQL functions fit into two broad categories, DDL and DML. DDL means data definition language and DML is the data manipulation language. So based on relational algebra but not entirely identical. So relations to tables, tuples, rows, attributes means columns. SQL is a standard, but although SQL is an ANSI or ISO standard, there are different versions of the SQL language. However, to be compliant with an ANSI standard, they all support at least the major commands such as select, update, delete, insert, where in a similar manner. And most of the SQL database programs also have their own proprietary extensions in addition to the SQL standard. Using SQL in websites also. To build a website that shows data from a database, you will need to an RDBMS database programs to use server-side scripting language like PHP or ASP, to use SQL to get the data you want, to use HTML or CSS or cascading style sheets to the style to the pages. DML, a data manipulation language. It is a computer programming language used for adding, that means inserting, deleting, and modifying, that means updating data in a database. A DML is often a sublanguage of a broader database language such as SQL. With the DML comprising some of the operators in the language. So read-only selecting of data sometimes distinguished as being part of a separate data query language, that is DQL. But it is closely related and sometimes also considered as a component of DML. Some operators may perform both selecting and writing, that is reading and writing. A popular data manipulation language is that of structured query language, which is used to retrieve and manipulate data in a relational database. Other forms of DML are those used by IMS, codacil database, such as IDMS and others. Data manipulation language statements are used for managing data within database. DML commands are not auto-committed. It means changes are not permanent to database. They can be rolled back. So DML commands are insert, update, delete, merge. So these are the DML commands. Insert means to insert a new row, update to update existing row, delete to delete a row, merge two rows or two tables. Select is the retrieve data from the database. Insert also used to insert a data into a table. Update also used to update existing data within a table. And delete all records from tables. The space for the records remain. And merge, upset operation. Data manipulation language statements or commands are used for managing data within tables. So as we know that the commands are select, insert, update and delete, merge, call, lock table. These are the table. An insert statement is used to add a new row to a table. The inserted values must match the table structure exactly in the number of attributes and the data type of each attribute. Character type values are always enclosed in single quotes. Number values are never in quotes. Data values are often in the format of YYMMDD. Next, update statement is used to change the values that are already in a table. The update expression can be a constant. Any computed value or even the result of a select statement that returns a single row and a single column. And next, delete statement deletes rows from a table. So we can use like the syntax also delete from can I have to give the table name where the based on the condition, that is it is where class is optional, then every row of the table is deleted that matches with the specified condition. Next, select statement is used to form queries for extracting information out of the database. For example, select student ID, name from student. So apart from these statements, some statements are also used to control the transaction made by DML statements. The commands used for these purpose are called transaction control, that is TCL statements. It allows statements to be grouped together into logical transactions. Some commands of TCLs are commit, save point, rollback. So they are the statements. Insert command is used to insert a data table. Following is a general syntax of insert into table name, value, data 1, data 2. Insert. This is an example for the insert command. And update command. This is used to update a row of a table. Following is general syntax. Observe the syntax. And this is also one more example for update. And the new columns of a record will update. And delete command, it is used to delete the data from a table. Delete command can also be used with condition to delete a particular row. It is a syntax and example. Example for delete command. And this is also delete for the example for the delete command. And this particularly delete a row. And this is the deleted. And previously 101 row and 102 row and 103 rows is there. And so when delete command used, so 103 rows is deleted. So next DDL commands. So DDL means data definition language. A DDL is a language used to define data structures and modify data. For example, DDL commands can be used to add, remove, modify tables within a database. DDL commands used in database applications are considered a subset of SQL. The structured query language, however, a DDL may also define other types of data such as XML. A data definition language has a predefined syntax for describing data. For example, to build a new table using SQL syntax, the create command is used. So, followed by parameters for the table, name and column definitions. So, the DDL can also define the name of each column and the associated data type. So, once a table created, it can be modified using the alter command. If the table is no longer needed, the drop command can be used to delete the table. Okay. So, since DDL is a subset of SQL, it does not include all the possible SQL commands. For example, commands such as select and insert are considered a part of the data manipulation language, that is DML, while access commands such as connect and execute are part of the data control language, DCL. The DDL and DML and DCL languages include most of the commands supported by SQL. And DDL commands, this is a data definition language. These are used to define the database structure or schema. So, all DDL commands are auto committed. That means it saves all the changes permanently in the database. And create, alter, truncate, drop, rename, these are all the DDL commands. So, create command is used to create a new table or new database. Alter, that is for alternation. Truncate means delete data from a table. The drop is a drop a table. Rename is the rename the table. And this is the DDL commands create, used to create the database, objects, and functions, views, stores, procedures, and records. So, drop is used to delete the objects from the database. Alter is used to alter the structure of the database. And DDL data definition language actually consists of the SQL commands that can be used to define the database schema. It simply deals with the description of the database schema and is used to create and modify the structure of the database objects in the database. And this is the create command is used to create the database or its objects, and drop command is used to delete the objects from the database, and alter is used to alter the structure of the database, and truncate is used to remove all the records from the table, including all spaces allocated for the records are removed. Alter is used to alter the structure of the database. Truncate is used to remove all the records from the table, including spaces for the records are removed. Comment is used to add comments to data dictionary. A rename is used to rename an object existing in the database. So as we know that the create user to create the table or database, and this is the syntax of create command, create a database name. This is an example. Next, alter command. Alter command is used for alternation of table structures. There are various uses of alter command, such as to add a column to existing table, to rename any existing column, to change data type of any column. Alter is also used to drop a column. A truncate command removes all records from a table, but this command will not destroy the table structure. When we apply truncate command on tables, its primary key is initialized. This is the syntax for truncate. Truncate table. Drop command, a drop query completely removes a table from database. This command will also destroy the table structure. And this is syntax, drop table name. Rename command is used to rename a table. So syntax is rename table, old table name to new table name, and automatically just the name will be changed. Data query language, DML statements are used for performing queries on the data. Within schema objects. The purpose of a data query language command is to get some schema relation based on the query passed to it. Data manipulation language, the SQL commands that deals with the manipulation of data present in the database belongs to DML or data manipulation language, and this includes most of the SQL statements. And data control language DCL includes commands such as grant and revoke, which mainly deals with the rights, permissions, and other controls of the database system. Grant gives users access privileges to database. Revoke withdraw users access privileges given by using the grant command. Transaction control language TCL commands deals with the transaction within the database. Commits a transaction. Rollback. Rollbacks a transaction in case of any error occurs. Save point. Sets a save point within a transaction. Set transaction. Specify characteristics for the transaction. So these are all the SQL commands. So further we will deeply discuss it in relational database management systems in next class. Thank you. We will meet in next class.